I work in a nursing home, and something strange is happening to the residents. Once, a friend had offered to install a new aerial for my TV and I had been asked to put my hand into a wall cavity to feed the cable through. I had done so, blindly reaching into that dark space clotted with dust and cobwebs, and my hand had lighted not on the cable but the desiccated remains of a bird. It had been dry and long dead, but after I had touched it I had washed my hand numerous times in an attempt to rid myself of the feeling of that arid little corpse against my palm. Standing there next to Bert's bed, I had that same feeling of repulsion when asked to touch him. I knew it would feel loathsome, and that I would never be able to rid myself of that feeling. I forced myself to get a grip, on myself and on him. His skin was cool and clammy, and my fingers sank into the doughy flesh of his upper arm far too easily. I could imagine my hands leaving an imprint in that unpleasant texture indefinitely. Terry started the count, on 3, and just as I was bracing myself to heave the old man upright, Bert turned his head to me. "Hope you're feeling strong," he croaked. "I'm a dead weight." He dropped one eyelid in a wink that took too long to execute, and coughed laughter. The exchange gave me an icy chill that crawled down my chest and into my belly. It was a joke. I knew it was a joke. Bert loved to joke. But that particular pun, delivered then? I hated it. Along with the wink, which Terry hadn't noticed, it had an entirely different flavor from Bert's usual lighthearted banter. That wink sealed it, told me there was something he was sharing only with me, and some part of him liked that I was uncomfortable. I sat him up anyway. Propped him up with pillows. I took refuge in my efficiency and shut my mind off. Bert had seemed heavier than usual, despite the fact that his illness had wasted his body away in the past weeks, but I decided that was my imagination. "Do you want anything, Bert?" asked Terry. "Nice cup of tea, maybe?" "Oh, yes," said Bert. "I'm dying for a cup of tea." "Okay, we'll get that to you. Brenda will fetch it, won't you, Bren?" He was already leaving the room, confident I'd spring into action, and the thought of having to be alone in the room with Bert made me panic. I followed close on Terry's heels, and as I reached the corridor I realized something wonderful. My shift had ended hours ago. I didn't have to do a single thing except go home. "Sorry, Terry," I said, aware I didn't sound sorry at all. "I'm off duty. Maybe you should get Bert his tea?" Before he had a chance to reply I had ducked into the changing room and grabbed my bag, and was out of the front door with his protests trailing behind me. I showered when I got home. Turned the heat up till the water was scalding. I felt filthy, infected, almost. And even though I scrubbed myself till my skin was red I still felt dirty afterwards, as if my contact with Bert had left a foul, invisible film over me. By the time I'd eaten and watched TV and read a little, I felt more comfortable. If Terry were to suggest I'd overreacted I would have ripped him a new asshole, but to admit it to myself wasn't so hard. I'd been mistaken. Nothing more, nothing less. I'd seen quite a few deaths in my time, but I wasn't an expert. Everyone was different and I shouldn't place such importance on gut feelings. Bert hadn't died. I had been wrong. I was very confident about that, unfortunately.